Scott Fitterer.
Hello, my name's Scott. I got a little bit of peer pressured into this, but it's not a bad thing. I had a great opportunity coming out of college to do a gap year program called Up With People. So the clientele who actually knows it, when I talk to students now, they're like, what? A little bit older. And I had known that I'd wanted to do this since they came to Chino and talked about it at Tasty Freeze or Chino Valley High School. And so the unexpected and unknown is also about host families or being hosted. Having done both, they're wild. My trip happened to go through Denver, Colorado, Chino Valley, actually, my hometown, and then down into Mexico and over to Europe, more Sweden, Finland, Germany, Denmark. There were two times that were just kind of standing out to me. I got to spend 25 days in Denmark with a specific host family learning more. That was awesome. But then also the time in Mexico, because a lot of people I think have been to Mexico like the border Mexico. And that's completely different than Mexico City, Veracruz. And because of when I went, I had just graduated college. I was on the older side of my cast. Everybody from 18 years old all the way up to a few people closer to 30. And being male, I got selected sometimes for some very interesting host families. One of which I was with another castmate, and we're in Mexico, and the joke was, well, how do you know if the tacos are fresh? Well, the dog's still barking. That was my host brother, off the top. From my host brother in country. That was a good joke. We all laughed. We knew it wasn't right or accurate. But we ended up in Veracruz, New Mexico, right on the coast. And it was a very interesting thing. I was selected, again, to be hosted with just one other gentleman. My Spanish is about as good as what you know you don't want to be called in Spanish, and that's about the extent of it. His English was maybe a little bit better, so we kind of communicated, I think. And mode of transportation during this time was on the back of a motorcycle. And if you haven't driven in Mexico recently, well, it's entertaining. So I get a hold on, and I also got the awesome helmet that looks like Lord Vader, so it flares out. So that's fun. Montezuma's Revenge visited me. That was fun. And then also just the trips of different things. We had to take a day walker to his grandma or something, so I'm holding on to the thing. Dogs start chasing. But talk about unknown. That's what it's about. If you ever have the chance to host, highly recommend it. Done it from other Up With People students way back when. Done it for other students talking about agriculture education. But this also kind of comes full circle because here in about a month or so, I get to go to another unknown, a missions trip to Cambodia. I have no idea what's going to come. So hosting and that little bit, thank you.